What is going on, guys? Horizon here. I got a message in my Discord a couple days ago asking how exactly do you analyze your own replays when it comes to improving at Rocket League. So that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Instead of going through a replay and pointing out all of the mistakes, we'll technically still be doing that, but we'll really be talking about what I'm looking for that helps me determine what mistakes are being made. Now, in fairness, there are two different ways that you can really analyze your replays. One is just for overall general improvement. You're trying to point out every little thing that comes up that you've done wrong, and another way is for one specific skill. Now, the one specific skill idea is more for when you know exactly what you want to work on and you're clearly focusing on that in the game that you're looking at. So, for example, if you're trying to improve your boost pathing and you know that you were focusing on that boost pathing in the game that you're looking at, that would be a good opportunity to just analyze for how you're moving around the field in terms of picking up boost. But what we're going to be looking at today is how to generally overall analyze the game as a whole. So I have here a 3v3 competitive match pulled up, and essentially what we're going to be looking for is just any decision that is made in terms of where we're going, what we're doing, and if there's any moment where, based on the state of the overall field, there would be something better that we can be doing. So we're not going to look through the entire game because that would take, a little bit too long probably while breaking down the thought process that's going on, but we will look through at least a couple of minutes and we'll see how things go along. So let's go ahead and jump on into this and we'll see how the thought processes work. So immediately on this thought, I'm looking, okay, what's the state of the field? So we have our teammate coming back here. We have this player floating in the air. We have this player going back this way. So what that tells us is there's probably nobody available to jump for this immediately. Now, with that in mind, CJ here finds himself in a pretty awkward spot. So now I want to think about, based on this awkward positioning, where would it be best for me to go? And I'm really hoping that in this instance, we don't see us leak out into the corner, because that is not a spot where we can be helpful. I want to be in this area, so if CJ does miss, I'm able to jump on in to help him out. So let's see what happens here. And yes, we do stay midfield just in case CJ does miss that touch, so we are available to help him out. So no issues there. Happy with that decision. Not as happy with this decision. So again, we're looking at the overall state of the field. So we come back, CJ gets the clear. At this point, it's all about assessing the threat level of what's going on, right? So we see this player here, he is going that way. We have CJ floating in the air on this side. We have Odyssey coming back from way over here. So if we have one teammate here, this area of the field is already fairly well covered. So there's really no reason for us to just linger in this same area. We want to space out to provide better coverage for our overall team. So in a moment like this, we're kind of hoping that we see a bit of a wider turnout since there's no immediate threat from this player making a play towards the net. Sure, it might bounce off the wall or something, but that's all he can really do based on the way he's facing. And that's another huge part to analyzing any given situation, is not only do you need to pay attention to where the players are, but you need to look at the exact direction they're facing to determine what they can actually do with the ball. So right here, I'm thinking that instead of just doing some donuts at the near post, we need to widen ourselves out since we have the time, and go nice and wide all the way out here and then come back in through the back post, because now we have everything covered. If a shot were to come in, we have that covered. If the ball goes to the backboard, we have that covered. But look at how awkward we are backwards at this near post here, and it just makes things very difficult in order to make the play. So you're really looking for overall state of the field, what direction are the players facing, then using that information, where should we be putting ourselves based on where the play is most likely to go. And in this case, this is not doing us any favors because it makes it very awkward to get out for this challenge, as we see by the fact that we're just not able to get there at all. So carrying on with this train of thought, This is fine. We take the 50, grab the boost, sure. To the backboard again, we get the touch. Try to land on it. I'm okay with this overall play. Is there something we could do a bit better here? That's always a question that we're asking as well. Could we have gone to the backboard a little bit faster, seeing that that opponent is sitting, you know, right here? Why, yes, we absolutely could have. So there is that argument that if we go up a little bit faster, maybe we can control this ball a little bit better, which is obviously significantly better than this. And then the idea of landing on the ball I really like, because looking at, you know, where these guys are, we're not really able to do a whole lot in terms of getting back to the ball, but we can pinch it in to their corner, which will buy our team some time to get boosts, buy us some space, and that I am a-okay with in this awkward of a situation. Unfortunately, we just, you know, missed the touch, but that does indeed happen. And then whenever a goal goes in, we really just need to look at the overall state of things. So we come down to the ground, we miss the ball. Sure. State of the field. Odyssey's in our corner, essentially on 0. So he is not going to be a whole lot of help. CJ's challenging this ball currently, and he's not able to get a touch on the ball much at all. So then at this point, we need to assess, again, state of the field. We have this guy floating in the air, this guy waiting for the ball here, and realistically, this guy waiting for CJ's touch. So even if CJ makes a touch here, it's highly likely that this ball is coming back into our half, which is an important thing to realize to decide where we're going to go. But as this play develops, you can see that Dan lands upfield. So now we just need to assess the threat. So Odyssey here can't do anything to really cover across. He is going to take this initial shot, possibly coming in from sticks, which is expected. But if he is going to take the shot, we need to get ourselves back to net as fast as possible to be able to play off of if he gets beat or if the ball possibly goes to a secondary player who can take the shot instead. But you can see that we don't assess this properly in the moment, and we're not using any boost at this point. We are not prepared to cover across this net. We don't do anything. We just sit here, and we fail to recognize the threat of the overall play, and now we're not able to catch back up to the ball. So that's another key to analyzing your own games, is looking at how the play transpired, and then based on that result, going back and looking at all the information that you had that could have told you that the play was going to end up at that conclusion. And if you see yourself not reacting properly to that information, now you know something that you need to improve on as you move forward. Unfortunately here, we end up giving up that goal, and it's a bit unfortunate, definitely preventable if we're a bit more aware of what's going on there. Dead ball kickoff. Looking for small pads here. Getting very fortunate. This is probably more of a comms thing, right? So again, state of the field. At this point, I think we kind of think that we don't win this corner boost. And in fairness, that's understandable based on this guy being here. We just need to find whatever pads we can. And unfortunately, like when we turn around, there's just nothing really there. Now, an argument can be made that instead of turning away, because we are the closest one to this play, I don't really see anything wrong with going here and playing onto the backboard to cut off this, since we know he has no boost and we'll probably need to pick up that corner, especially because we can't see anything coming in from our teammates over here. So that's another important thing, right? Where are our teammates and where should we go off of that? If they're not coming in yet, we need somebody to cut down this space over here, because we don't want to give up that space to that opponent just for free. So there's really no reason for us to just dip from this play when our teammates might expect us to move back in here based on the fact that we don't see them coming across yet at all. So we need to base our decisions as well off our teammates the same way we do off of our opponents. And here we absolutely could have gone to that backboard and been first. Let CJ come in as second, Odyssey as third, and we would have been set up perfectly fine. But instead, we yield way too much space, and our team just has to try to make a desperate save because we misread the situation. So, again, poor decision-making there in terms of where we're going. That's fine then. Looking for pads here. Sure, get the clear out. Pop to Odyssey. Don't mind that. This is tough. This is tough because we're executing all of this on low boost. So, boost usage, all of that, all involved in all these decisions. We pop it out towards Odyssey. That's fine. Now, whenever we land in an awkward spot like this, the question we then immediately have to ask is, okay, how do we recover out of this position to get ourselves back in an effective spot to help out our team? And the question is always going to be, what boost pads can we go over and where can we put ourselves? So right here, the ball is going to be popped down the field, right? So we have plenty of time here to look for whatever pads we can. We can see that this player is going to take that mid pad. So nothing doing up here, nothing we need to worry about because we understand the positioning of that player and the way that they're facing. We are facing up the wall here. So if we want to get back in the play quickly, we don't want to do this long turn thing here that just slows us down more and delays our ability to get boost a little bit longer. We should probably be backing down the wall, half flipping out, maybe getting to this pad, and then turning upfield to this one here, and then going from there to see how the play develops, since these are the two closest pads to where we are right now. So let's slow this down a little bit and see how the play transpires. So we make the poor turn up the wall. And actually, if we back down the wall, there was another pad right below us that I didn't even think about that we could have had. So we could have had two pads right around now-ish. And instead of being over here, we could be, you know, over here, moving up this way onto this pad, which is essentially, I believe, roughly where we're going to go. We actually don't go get the boost. We go all the way to this one. But this is where we consider the overall movement, right? So let's back it up again. And let's just play the game of if we had come down the wall. We half flip now. We land here. We turn up. We grab this. Now we slide this way. And now we have momentum coming forward with a bunch of boost. And we can go just attack the ball as fast as possible. Or we can decide to back off and play for their possible shot. Having options is a huge part of analyzing your own games, because you always want to keep your options as open as possible. If you find yourself stuck with one option, all of a sudden you're playing directly into the hands of your opponents because they don't have to figure out what you're going to try to do. So when you're analyzing, you want to figure out where you can put yourself on the field to be able to keep your opponents guessing as much as possible. For the opponents here, if they see us all the way up here in this awkward spot, we don't have a choice to back out of this because we're just going to have the ball boomed over our heads. So we have to commit. But because we're last back here, one thing you really need to understand is as last, our objective is not necessarily to put the ball in the back of the net. Like, sure, if the opportunity presents itself, we will absolutely do that. But our main objective is to keep our back end and our net as safe as we possibly can. And when we put ourselves in spots where we're forced into an awkward challenge as last back, we're not doing a great job of keeping our net safe, because if we lose this challenge, look at where our teammates are, again, basing all of our decisions on the opponents and our teammates. If we lose this challenge, it's just a wide open net the other way, which is not a risk we want to be taking. So in your analysis, focus on where your teammates are, what way they're facing, where your opponents are, what way they're facing, where the ball is, where it's going, and then utilizing all of that information. How do you put yourself in good spots around the field based on what you can see, and then kind of reverse engineer your decision making based on results that happen in the play, based on evidence that may have been available to you if you simply were more aware of other players and other things going on around the field. Last thing we'll talk about here is, again, just being aware of everything that's going on, right? So we've already taken a very big risk in pushing upfield. At this point, again, we have to assess the state, right? CJ going that way. Odyssey facing this way. this player facing towards the ball, this player turning in to the back, other player all the way going to be down the field off of the challenge that we just won somehow, some way. So again, all about assessing the situation we find ourselves in. The ball pops off the backboard. Odyssey is sitting right in front of us. We are still last here. CJ has now turned upfield onto that corner boost. There is zero reason, once again, based on everything we can see and the boost that we have, for us to try to commit forward when we can see both of our teammates and they can't see us. This is completely unnecessary, very risky, and now nobody is here to be able to cut in on this ball, and the opponents just have a free transition down the field, and CJ is left alone on an island while we try to pick up boost the other way. So that's kind of the overall flow of things, to make sure that you are just putting yourself in good spots, making sure you're looking around the field at all of the information that you have available to you at any given time, and utilizing your ability to pause, slow things down, to really look at the state of the field and determine where you should be going based on that information, so that you give your team the best chance to be successful. So that's how I would go about analyzing your guys' own replays. Of course, if you guys do want help with your own replays, you can always check out my Discord, which is linked down in the description, as I do offer free coaching through there. And if there are any questions that you'd like answered in a video like this, you can check out the video suggestions channel in that Discord as well, where you can put all of your video suggestions of what you'd like to see in the future. With all that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you did enjoy it and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Once again, if you're interested in some one-on-one coaching, or if you'd just like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, do make sure you check out that Discord, which is again linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.